Well, as we count down to the biggest sporting spectacle known to mankind, the World Cup happening in Russia, we thank you very much for joining us on this very beautiful Saturday morning. Welcome. This is Old Sports, and we're looking forward to having a great time on the show as usual. But first, let's take a look now, shall we, at the Super Eagles watch. We'll be right back after this.
Hey, Adu!
Dad,
Look, I got something for you.
a football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
Please, come.
I'm okay, thanks.
The kind of person that you asked me to be. My brother say he love me, I love him too. I tell him I will do anything for you. But it's strange.
Did you see how many goals they scored?
I know get you.
They scored
I look up like this, say who are you?
So, Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today.
Remind me how.
Game's about to start.
You la, la, la,
Quick,
la,
please.
la, 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 la.
The much-awaited provisional list of Super Eagles players for the Russia 2018 World Cup was finally released by coach Gernot Rohr earlier this week. As expected, the list is generating discourse among football fans, and the subject is about the true depth of the team in terms of what each player can bring to the table. Contrary to earlier speculations, Rohr had simply resisted the urge to play to the gallery by naming a bogus list that could be hard to manage ultimately. Instead of the 35 names initially bandied, the Franco-German coach simply named 30 players, comprising mostly of familiar names he has worked with since he took charge of the team in 2016. Astute football analysts can almost certainly wager on 7 players that will be dropped to make their way for the eventual 23 that will represent Nigeria and Russia come June 14. That Rohr picked 10 defenders, the highest in any department of the team, shows a clear indication towards building a strong defense for the Super Eagles at the World Cup. And save for the inclusion of NPFL top goal scorer Junior Lokosa and Dele Ajiboye, there was no real surprise in the team's composition. HotsportsTV.com in this special package will scrutinize the squad, examining current form of the lucky invitees as a yardstick. Goalkeepers: Ikechukwu Ezenwa. Ezenwa, at the time, looked to be the perfect replacement for Kalikeme, who was diagnosed with acute leukemia. The former Ifeanyi Uba FC shortstopper had burst onto the scene, displaying the kind of steely nerves that made the likes of Peter Rufai and Vincent Anyema heroes of Nigerian football, with saves that gladdened the hearts. But the soft-spoken goalie would be exposed in further games the Eagles played. His performance at the Chan Championship in Morocco in January only served to increase doubts about his delivery. Uzoho was the unknown goalkeeper, who popped up suddenly when the team's weaknesses in the vital area were becoming too pronounced, especially after the fiasco of Nigeria's humiliation by South Africa in the Cameroon 2019 AFCON qualifiers in Uyo. 2 unreplied goals was all the South Africans needed to finally reverse the Eagles' long dominance over the Bafana Bafana. Uzoho was called in to provide competitiveness in the team's last place in defense. Surprisingly, he was chosen to defend Nigeria's nets in an international friendly against Argentina, and just when everybody thought the Messiah was being expected, he fumbled the ball, conceding 2 cheap goals against Serbia in the Super Eagles' most recent friendly. But the youthful goalie is still being favoured as a possible number 1 at the World Cup. What Nigerian footballers hold against Daniel Kwayi is simply the fact that he lacks confidence and often does not perform at the highest level. He was the goalkeeper directly responsible for Bafana Bafana running away with the 3 points that fateful evening in Uyo. He was given another chance in the much publicized international friendly against Argentina following the final World Cup qualifier game. Akweyi's less than average performance cost the Super Eagles 2 quick goals in succession, exposing his naivety before he was substituted by the youthful Uzoho. Rohr is hopeful that Akweyi has overcome his stage fright as he picks his final squad for the Mondial. Dele Ajiboye. Dele Ajiboye's colour may have been thanks to his performance for the home-based Eagles at the last African Nations Championship held in Morocco, as well as his 5-star rendition for his club, Plateau United, in the local Premier League. But it remains to be seen whether Ajiboye, who won the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in 2007, will be able to displace his more experienced colleagues in the race for Russia 2018.
Follow Hotspot on social media. We are at HotspotNG on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Hey, Adu!
Dad,
Look, I got something for you.
a football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
I'm okay, thanks. So, Daddy, we showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
We sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today. The game's about to start. Quickly.
We thank you for joining us at this time and welcome. This is Old Sport. My name is Babajide Guerrero and I'm usually not alone. I'm never alone. I'm not a Liverpool fan anyways. Good morning, Henry. How you doing?
I'm good.
Always a pleasure to have you join us on the show.
Yes, it's good to have you on board as well.
Absolutely. Tolu Olorunmoteni is back for the first time on this particular show. How you doing, Tolu?
Great to be back here.
Tolu is the man of the heart. I mean, I like to call him the magician. He's good with his heart whenever he's in that particular mood. But the mood we're in right now is a mood to talk some very, very juicy football stories. Nigeria, albeit Eagles B, played Atletico Madrid. What are your thoughts about that game? Let me start with you, Ari.
It was exciting. It was an eye-opener. We were able to see some of our players and we see their confidence level playing against the almighty Atletico, winners of the Europa League. And it was an opportunity for us to see certain players, and it was quite a revelation.
Okay, definitely well said there. But for us here in the studios, we were looking at some particular performances. But were you thrilled by any particular player in that particular setup?
Yeah, if you score that kind of goal, Usman Mohammed scores, I will be thrilled. Lionel Messi will be proud of that. I mean, that was a brilliant, brilliant play. And aside that, I think Tosin Omoyele's profile is rising by the day. Each time he's had the opportunity to showcase himself on the big stages he has. The CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup in the league, beginning with Plateau United. And now, at this level, against Atletico Madrid, I will never forget, and no one else should forget that this time last year, Tosin Omoyele was playing in the Nigerian National League for Osun United. And here he is, barely a year later, and this is already what he's doing at this level. I think his profile is rising, and I hope that his managers lead him rightly. That guy is a revelation for me.
Oh, definitely. That's what we're talking about. I mean, that's why we're showing off the MPFL, and so that we can see if at all there's genuine quality in the particular league. All right, so moving on now, we can confirm and tell you for free that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will play against Congo DR in another friendly, and that one will be played, of course, as well in Port Harcourt. And the FG, federal government, have said they'll be screening the players for Ebola. Sticking with the NFF at the moment, we can confirm to you as well that come Monday, Henry, there's a huge town hall meeting for all stakeholders, and definitely you're going to be there.
It's like a farewell party for the Super Eagles. People are just going to bring their ideas about how the Super Eagles should do it at the World Cup. Do not forget, this is our 6th outing at the World Cup, and some tips will be good for the team to take home.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to the very best of news. But there will also be a training session on that same Monday. How can you be part of all this? It's very simple. All you need to do is just to log on Monday evening to www.hotsporttv.com for all the juicy stories. And of course, Henry here will be reporting live from Port Harcourt on that particular platform. So moving on, reporting live to Emirates Stadium these days has to be Unai Emery. Tolu, we heard it was Mikel Arteta. Some said it was Thierry Henry. But Monday morning, we were confirmed that Unai Emery, former coach of PSG, this year is averagely good news for an average Arsenal fan.
Yeah, I think they will be glad that it's not Patrick Vieira who was equally linked. And I've seen a couple of games for the New York Football Club that he coaches in the MLS, and yeah, that's just about it. Nothing spectacular. And it's in the MLS. Yeah, they try to play the possession kind of football, but I do not think he's ready for that level just yet. Unai Emery, I think he's been hugely disrespected and underappreciated in the football world. But let's not forget, this man has won 8 titles in the last 5 seasons. I mean, there are not too many coaches who match that record at the moment. In his last 3 seasons in Sevilla, he won the UEFA Europa League, and in 2 seasons at Paris Saint-Germain, he won 5 trophies. You know, he did a double once, and then he did the domestic treble just this recently completed season. So he's a man who knows how to win. And back in the days at Valencia, he didn't win anything, but for 3 seasons at Valencia, he ensured that Valencia were the 3rd best team in Spain, consistently finishing behind only just Real Madrid and Barcelona. And you can't fault anyone who's finishing behind them. I mean, how many teams, how many managers go to Spain and then do well outside Real Madrid and Barcelona.
All right, for us here at All Sports, we take a break right now. And when we come back, we'll talk a little bit of tennis and a little bit of table tennis and lawn tennis. This is All Sports.
Hey, Adu.
Dad,
Look, I got something for you.
a football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
I forgot how
I'm
to
okay,
be
thanks.
the kind of person that you asked me to be. My brother say you love me, I love him too. I tell him I will do anything for you. But a stranger
see how many
say
goals they
this,
scored?
I know get you.
They scored
I look up like this, say who are you?
So, Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today.
Remind me how.
The game is about to start.
La, la, la,
Quickly.
la, 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 la.
While we're counting down for the World Cup coming up in June, very, very soon, one thing that is definitely going to serve off tomorrow is the Roland Garros, the big French Open. And some of the big boys, Tolu, are getting ready for this one. The name on everybody's lips has got to be Rafael Nadal. What a beastly 2018 he's having so far. And Roland Garros could be another one to claim.
Yeah, the undisputed king of clay. Any other thing would not be an upset. The only thing that would be an upset is if he fails to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a rare upset some years ago where he was knocked out in the second round, and that was unexpected, and that went into the history books. But this time around, he's been preparing for this, like what we had last year, where he took a break off some of the Masters and waited until the clay season got going, and then got himself in the mix, got himself in the championship mode, and then swept through. He's done the same this year. I think he's had a little bit hiccup here and there, particularly in Rome, but he's back. The Roland Garros is his favorite, and he's been a champion on that court for way too long, and I'm sure he's not ready to relinquish that anytime soon. So we're going into the clay court season, and yeah, you already can tell who's going to win it.
Absolutely.
If in 2 weeks' time he's not a winner, then that's a surprise.
Definitely, it is going to be a surprise. But another big surprise, or rather not a big surprise like that, is the story that Serena Williams, the former world number one, is not even seeded. This is because of the whole, maternity leave that she's been on. But definitely she's going to be coming back to claim yet again another Roland Garros throne, or crown, to say the least. All right, moving on. At this time, let's talk a bit of basketball. And Henry, in another interesting turn of events, Musa Kida has come out to say that basketball has really suffered in the 10 months painful distraction.
What he's actually saying is that if the other group had just simply allowed, in the interest of fair play, allowed them to just go on without challenging their
themselves,
maybe he would have had more time to concentrate. Even at that, they were still able to win for basketball with the ladies, got to the final with the men, the Tigers, and now, but I think he just made a very reference to that distraction, that they need to be united to move basketball forward. Now we are having the ladies, going to, because on the strength of winning the Afro Basketball Championship, they qualified from Africa and they are going to the World Cup. And that was the second leg of the stakeholders confab they've been holding. They had one in Lagos 2 weeks ago, and this is the second one in Abuja. And that was a forum to really make some pronouncements. I think that's where these issues came up.
When you say first leg and second leg, it's just football that happens to be in my head. All right, but moving on at this time, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back on Hot Spot this beautiful Saturday morning, the main issue. It's simple. Judging by what we saw against Atletico Madrid, 3-2, Atletico winning that one, is there genuine talent? Is there genuine quality on home front? That is a story to be discussed right after this break. Don't go anywhere. This is Hot Sports.
Hey, Adu.
Dad,
Look, I got something for you.
a football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
I forgot how
I'm
to
okay,
be
thanks.
the kind of person that what you asked me to be. My brother say he love me, I love him too. I tell him I will do anything for you. But it's strange.
Did you see how many goals they have scored?
I no get you.
They scored
I look up like this, say who are you?
So, Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today.
Remind me how.
Game's about to start. Quickly.
Dudu looking for space to cross, delivers into the heart of the box. The pressure again from Nigeria, insisting, and Wakali goes for goal. And Wakali, what a strike to beat Jan Oblak. It's Nigeria 1, Atleti 0. Kelechi Wakali with a blockbuster blast to break the deadlock. He tried to pick out, Shia did it. Threaded through perfectly for Correa into the area. Correa on his left. Correa levels for Atletico Madrid, and they weren't down for long. Correa outswinger near post, and this one does get past the hands of the goalkeeper Tomas. Fernando Torres puts Atletico in front. Here they come again, and Oyele lays it off into the area. Chance for an equalizer as Nigeria, the Super Eagles, can they level it? Slide it through at the near post. It's 2-2. Just over 10 minutes left to play. And Usman Mohammed off the bench scores the equalizer for the Super Eagles. Slotted through, that's a nice ball into the area. Chance to take the lead, and they've done it. Borja Garces puts Atleti back in front with 5 minutes left to play.
Hey, Adu.
Dad,
Look, I got something for you.
a football chassis?
Hey, Adu, come watch a game with your uncle and I.
I'm okay, thanks. So, Daddy, you showed those blues pepper yesterday, right?
You sure did.
Those 3 points are sure for us today. Game's about to start. Quickly.
We are on the home stretch right now on Old Sport. Now, like we said earlier, the question this morning is simple. Is there really genuine quality on the home front? Well, Henry Okodwa believes, yes, there is. He's a pro-league person. He's always of Nigeria's quality, that there is quality on the home front. Tolu says no. Judging by what we saw, he wasn't particularly convinced. So I'll allow Tolu to please go open the floor with his thoughts.
All right, so first things first, we saw about 10 to 12 home-based players participate in this fixture. At the end of the day, the ones who made their names were the foreign-based pro. One, Kelechi Nwakali. Two, has to be Usman Mohammed. And the one who really stood out among them all was the one who couldn't stop missing chances, Ashadi. Now, this is it. If we have a league and we have some players who have been playing in this league for quite some time, who are trying to force their way into the national teams, into the main national team setup, and you get an opportunity to come and showcase yourself against an understrength Atletico Madrid side. Yes, we know that Diego Simeone is one of the best coaches in the world, and regardless of the team he's handling or the quality of in terms of personnel, it will still be a very solidly defensive side. Yet, how did our boys fail to make a proper impression against what looks more or less like an academy Atletico Madrid side?
Can I pause you there? Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. Okay, so Henry, your opening thoughts.
Well, I don't agree with him.
Of course.
We have we always talked about quality on the home team. There's a difference between players' quality and organization of a league. I don't want us to mix it up. You could say our league is still, trying to get up there like the big leagues of the world in terms of organization, administration, sponsorship, and the like, pitches, security. But when you talk about quality of players, Nigeria seems to have a quality and, an endless reservoir of players over the years. We can see, roll out from the players that go to Europe that eventually come here to showcase their skills. They didn't draw from the sky. They came from the Nigerian leagues, went to Europe, fine-tuned their games and came back. And today we are hailing them. Most of our players who are big today, started from the league. it's down to an individual. It's an individual thing.
I wouldn't quite agree with you when you say that most of them played from the league and then went out. I think the best of the stars.
You cannot do a blanket condemnation of the players on the basis of just a game.
I think that a majority of our top stars, those who have made their names in recent years, it has to be stressed, in recent years, let's say 10 years back to now, are not guys who particularly flourished or had a brilliant season in the league and then went outside. I think most of them have been guys who had a good under-17 and then went out there, and then sometimes they are back. Do we genuinely have a system that caters for the under-17 here? No, we don't. So they didn't play in the leagues.
The A-grade teams have always been developed from this place,
but not in the league.
Players that you know, some from the league. You know,
and we will both know. You know the league so well, but you know there are no under-17s in the league.
You know, from the league, we had players under Samson Siasia that went to Holland 2005.
Yes.
They all came from the league.
Yes, that's 15 years ago. That was why I narrowed it back to 10.
Even now, you know, some of the players you are talking about, where did Junior Ajayi come from?
From the league. But then is he making it back into the team now?
See, if you use Junior Ajayi, he didn't really have enough time.
Let us look at MM Edok also. He's been out of the league for 4 years now and he still hasn't made it into the national team setup.
That is a question. You see, we cannot
that's
use
that's depending on the individual.
That is exactly what I'm saying. That the league hasn't really proven that players who flourish in the league can go out of the league here, go out there, flourish, and then come back into the team.
It's individual, because when you look at it, it comes down to a player, his skill, his flair, the way he adapts into a game. Now, this was a game against Atletico.
Yes.
You brought some players together, they trained for just 3 days, and you expect them, you know, with what they did, you could say the finishing was poor from the home players, you know, but we had...
So if this excuse of the fact that they haven't played together for a while counts, should we use the same basis to judge? Should we use the same basis now to judge the main Super Eagles? When they start, remember when they played their first games before they played against Zambia? I think the first games was against Swaziland, and so when the World Cup qualifying began, and they still won regardless of it, regardless of the fact that it's a new coach, it's a new setup, it's a new set of guys. They blended. I mean, if you're good, you're good.
The argument here is this: you don't put it down to the players. Are you saying there are no players in the league? You know, sometimes it could be due to selection. They are probably not the best in that position. So it's neither here nor there. That kind of argument does not hold water when you say a player, you know, because he didn't score, you know, like Ashadi was missing chances. That did not mean that if he plays another game, he will not score a goal.
No, it doesn't mean also, but it equally doesn't guarantee he will score a goal.
Yeah, but
it could shatter his confidence so much that when he gets another chance, he loses it again.
We had a home-based team that went to the championship and they got to the final
and lost 4-0.
I think this conversation really should be left to our viewers. It's been a phenomenal time in the studio with these two gentlemen, going in hammer and thongs on whether or not there's genuine quality on the home front. But what do you think about all this? How about you hit us up on social media, especially on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at OutSportNG, and of course you can as well, you know, follow us on social media on that particular platform and send text messages to the phone number on your screen. Is there really genuine talent in the Nigerian Professional Football League? Tolu Olorunmoteni says no. Olorunmoteni Tolu, I beg your pardon, says no, while Henry Okodua believes yes. But we're waiting for your thoughts exactly to see how that will be. Guys, thank you so very much for coming to this show. Henry Okodua, as usual, lighting up the arguments, and of course Tolu giving it back to back. Guys, thank you very much for coming.
It's a pleasure.
We'll do this again definitely very soon.
Definitely.
All right. So, guys, how about you join us next week, Saturday? We'll bring you a new edition. Remember that you can follow OutSport at OutSportNG and social media, and www.outsporttv.com, especially on Monday when we have that huge NFF Town Hall event. We'll see you next week, Saturday. But for me, Babajide Guerrero, have a beautiful weekend.